Garner and creator. I recently saw Avengers Infinity War. Finally, it came out the other night. And I just want to say right away, I thought this was a great movie. The Russo brothers, who directed it and constructed the movie, they did a very good job of this, like I thought they would. I love Winter Soldier. I love Civil War. Those are two of my favorite Marvel comic book movies to date. And if not, honestly, those are my most favorite Marvel comic book movies ever. And they did those two, and they did this one, and they did a great job of balancing everything in this movie. This is a non-spoiler review. I'll put out a spoiler review later. But just to give you the gist, the story, I thought the story is basic for the whole movie. It's not something, for me, it wasn't like, oh my God, it's so surprising. There are a lot of, how can I put this? You probably heard already a lot of jaw-dropping things that happen in this movie that will make you just go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Me, honestly, I was kind of like, oh, okay, all right. Some of it I saw coming, but other things I did kind of go, they're gonna go there, and they kind of do go there. But the story was basic, but it was a good story. It was appropriate for everything that has happened thus far in the Marvel comic book movie universe, the MCU. And I just appreciated the fact that this was literally like a comic book come to life, more so than any other Marvel comic book movie, in my opinion, my personal opinion. It was like reading the pages of a comic book in certain scenes. And I was just thrown back by that. I'm like, oh my God, they did this. And there's so much. There's no way, like, even if somebody tells you certain things about this movie, there's so much that happens in this movie that you did not see on the commercials, that you did not see on any trailers. And those things will probably blow your mind a little bit. I hope you do go to see this movie soon. Like I said, the only gripes that I probably have about it is that, actually, no gripes, it was just the basic story part, that was it. But other than that, the language, there was a couple scenes like where like the language was, I think like nowadays, like people, they accept a little bit more with comic book movies, but for me, sometimes being a big comic book person, it still kind of takes me out, because when I hear comic book language in a movie, when certain characters talk like they would in a comic book, like almost verbatim, like completely like a comic book, it kind of throws me off a little bit. I'm like, oh, are people gonna buy this? Because it sounds kind of weird. Like if somebody came up to you and be like, the worlds are colliding, this extra normal activity is happening here. If somebody says something like that in real life, I don't think there's any actor that could pull off those lines correctly or make them seem believable. And there were certain things in this movie where I did actually kind of go like, I'm like, but people liked it. My audience, they were like, oh my God, they were laughing. They were, I'm like, good. As long as you guys liked it, I don't really care. I just want all this stuff to still happen. Biggest thing about this movie I liked, the action. Once again, in my opinion, I believe that this movie has some of the best Marvel comic book action I have seen to date, period. Hands down. I just think that. I mean, like, it was, like I said, literally like a comic book come to life. Certain scenes in this movie. It actually pulled me back, and I was sitting there going, whoa. It was actually hard to follow. It's like reading a George Perez book from back in the day. If you know who George Perez, he's one of the great comic book artists in history of comic books. Please look him up. It was like watching George Perez, like it was like looking at his comic books, like looking at one of his Avengers comic books to be more specific, and seeing that on screen. That's all I can say about that. So like I said, story was a little bit basic. The language I was a little bit worried about. The action was incredible. Standout characters, and I can do this without spoiling it, because for me, these characters have never actually talked to me that much. They've never spoken to me. They've never been characters that I really cared about that much. Number one, Iron Man. I don't like Iron Man. I actually kind of hate Iron Man. I loved him in this movie. I can't say what happened, but I just love him in this movie. He had some integral scenes. He had some scenes that just made me go, oh my God. I felt so much for him. Also, Black Panther. He wasn't in the movie as much, and a lot of people have said that, but for the parts that he was in, they were good. And even I didn't hate Black Panther, the movie. I thought it was a good movie, but it just didn't make me go, wow, like everybody else was. In this movie, I actually liked him a little bit more. Doctor Strange. Holy crap, Doctor Strange. That's all I'm going to say. This is like directly, even more so than his own movie, this is like directly from the comic book. Just the things that he did in this movie. His action sequences, I can say that. And Thor, Yes, Thor. I didn't really like Thor Ragnarok. I liked him better in this movie, and the things that he did in this movie. His sequences were awesome. Also, the Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't like either of those movies. I don't even like those characters in the comic book that much. I had to go through in my head really quickly. I really didn't like any of them. I just went the whole roster in my head of all the Guardians of the Galaxy ever. I just can't think of anybody who I really liked in that team. And when the movie came out, I didn't really like the movie. The second movie I actually bought on download, and I never watched it again. This movie, redeemed for me. So this is coming from a person who's not a big fan of some of these characters, and this movie made me like them, made me care for them, and just took me right into it. And I don't know what else to say, because I'm kind of blown away like a lot of people are. Watching Avengers Infinity War this weekend, if you haven't already, it is a great movie. I support it full-heartedly. I want to see it again. I don't say that about most Marvel movies. Only movies that I've ever seen like repeatedly was Civil War, Winter Soldier, and not in the MCU, but Deadpool. That was it. Repeatedly in the movie theaters. I want to see this again, because it was so much to absorb. And I will do a spoiler review soon, because believe me, I got the list already written down. Things I want to talk about in this movie. So see Avengers Infinity War. It is a great movie. I myself am artist, writer Michael S. Garner. I do my own online comic book called Visions of the New. If you want to check it out, it's at visionsofthenew.com. You can get a PDF version there. You can read it online, etc., etc. Until next time, go see this movie. Hey guys, if you do want to subscribe to my page, just hit the button down below to do so. Also, if you want any notifications of any new videos, just click the bell on the bottom. If you do want to leave some comments, feel free. All I'm trying to do here is to start a conversation. Honestly, I don't have too many people out here to talk to about comic book related geek stuff, and I would like to do it on this forum. I'm not asking you to keep it incredibly friendly on here, but I am asking you to be respectful on here. So when you put a comment down below, or if you have a disagreement with somebody, or even me, don't attack anybody personally. Stick to the subject. Have a good day, guys.